Pressed.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the newest interview with Dissonant Waves. I'm Dominic. Ritz and Trix are here as always. And we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Kayne. I play in the band Online Friends. That's one word, all lowercase. You've probably seen us on Twitter mostly. That's where we're most active. I do vocals, I write lyrics, I play guitar, keyboards, clarinet, ukulele, whatever needs to be done. So I'd say I'm the main driving force of the band. I unfortunately couldn't get any of my other bandmates on, but I will do the best I can.
Hey, that's totally fine. It happens. We just move on and continue with the interview as normal. All right. So let's see. What's a great first question?
Well,
I
I
guess
can do an
go
easy
ahead.
one actually.
Sure.
Since they're not there, do you want to kind of just introduce who your other band members are though and what they play?
Sure thing. Besides me, Online Friends consists of my good friend Amelia C. Um, Rest in peace. She will be missed. She does lyrics, keyboards, and sometimes vocals. She's not dead. She just told me to carry that on as a bit since she couldn't make it. and then and then currently on bass is my friend B, who is also in LaCroix Camera Cycling Center, Koi Puddle, and Every Promise Kept. And on drums and production, cello, etc., is my friend Natalie, who is also in Exposure Therapy, Purity, and a couple other projects too.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And that lineup has changed quite a bit. I think it's expanded quite a bit since the beginning of Online Friends. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It started as just me, and then my friend Mario was in for a couple months, and then it was just me again. And then since 2020, it's been me and Ame consistently. But since then, we've had multiple people come and go. But this has been our solid lineup for the past year, I think. It's been pretty solid.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've been delving deep recently into the early days, covering the we don't care about sports stuff, the winter tape, the Kanye Midwest stuff, all that fun stuff. It's definitely a jump between what that was like back then, in like the early COVID 2020 days, into like what Unlimited Blade Works became. Do you want to like maybe like talk about that gap a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Unlimited Blade Works itself did start as a COVID project because we did start writing that in like early spring of 2020, I think, like March, something like that. We had the whole thing like written in a couple months. Like we were sitting on the whole thing for a while. It just took I was thinking about this earlier. You guys were wondering like in those 3 years, a lot of it was just trying to find the right people to do it with because we didn't want to do it just by ourselves. We wanted it to be a full band thing. And it took a while for us to really find the right people that would be a good fit for the band. And besides that, too, we just had our periods of just not really having any inspiration to work on it. Like we were working on other stuff. We have a lot of stuff written that we did in the meantime, but it just took a while for us to really strap down and get the EP finished.
So over those 3 years, since you've obviously now had a lot of time between writing and putting out, I can't exactly say which state you started all that, but I'm going to assume you probably had a lot of songs or a lot of potential ideas that didn't make the EP or album in the end. However, it's called. How did you end up deciding what made the record and what didn't?
Well, the track list actually stayed the same the entire time pretty much because in that first few month period we had 6 of the songs written and we had that all set in stone as the EP. And then there was another song I wrote later in the year, Watching Clocks, which ended up making it onto the EP too. And it's always been the same since then. There weren't any other songs that we were thinking of putting on it or anything. It was just those ones the whole time.
But did their songs say have any different versions or different intentions that they originally had and changed? Say like
Yeah, totally.
a different vibe to a song, something like that.
Yeah, most of the songs stayed the same, mostly aside from Chemistry in Motion. That song went through a good few changes over the years, structurally and lyrically, because I couldn't get it quite to where I wanted it to be until the version that ended up making it onto the EP. But the rest of it we were pretty happy with overall.
So then,
Trix referring to next question. Oh, I was gonna say Trix gets the next question because
yeah, Trix. I was gonna follow up with Trix.
All of mine are weird, oddball, nothing related to music, so I'm happy to wait.
No, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to
this is what this interview is for.
All right. Well then, do you, or if you know any of your bandmates, do you have like a dream piece of gear that you want?
Ooh, good question. I'm not sure about the other ones, but I think there's this one main guitar that I especially really want to get at one point. It's an Epiphany Wilshire, if you know what those look like.
Epiphone Wilshire, yes.
Yeah, those are really cool. I really like the body on it.
Yeah, they're full hollow with 2 mini humbuckers, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mostly know them because Alex from Dogleg used to play one too.
Mm-hmm. Really cool guitars, yeah.
Totally. And I think their bassist played a Thunderbird too, which I'd really like to have as regular electric guitar too.
The Firebird is the guitar version of the Thunderbird, if you're looking for that. And Epiphone makes one too.
Well, what I was going to ask.
Question I interrupted.
Yeah, what I was going to ask. Since you were talking about how Unlimited Blade Works kind of stayed the same, are there other like kind of songs or like projects, EPs, whatever that you were kind of considering during that 3-month or a 3-year gap? Then kind of like each project has its own vibe and it has these tracks, and we'll just kind of do it when we can.
You mean like other things we were working on in the meantime?
Because you said there was like a number of other things kind of like there that didn't get recorded and stuff. So I was curious if there was just like Unlimited Blade Works has its own identity, this other project has its own identity kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, since 2020, we'd also been working on and off on a second Online Friends album. We have a lot of songs written for that, but that's still a far off project that we haven't really started putting together yet, but we have lots of ideas put towards that.
I guess speaking of albums, on your Bandcamp, you still have the first one as the demos, and it says something like don't stop asking us, we don't know when it's coming out.
You're about to ask, aren't you?
I mean, I can ask. I was more leading the question and seeing if you'd respond first, but I can ask.
It's kind of what this show is for, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that re-recording We Don't Care About Sports is going to be our next big project now that Bladeworks is out, because Bladeworks was our big focus for a while. Now that that's finished, it makes sense that would be the next progression from that, since we have the full lineup already and they already kind of know the songs pretty well. But yeah, I think that'll be, aside from some like one-off singles and stuff before that, that'll be the next big thing that we work on, I'm pretty sure. But before that, we're gonna rework it a bit, change some lyrics, some structures, but I think that's mostly going to stay the same too. Just going to be more fine-tuned and fleshed out now that we have a full band behind it, not just me doing everything.
So the answer for when it's coming out is still don't know.
Don't know. Hopefully it doesn't take another 4 years between that. for it to happen, but it'll happen. We're not totally in the position right now to be working on new stuff, but once we do, I think that'll be our next main focus.
I mean, I think it's still good that
Awesome.
you released what you had. I think that's a really great timestamp to have like that whole era kind of documented. Like you had that
Yeah,
whole
totally.
like B-sides demos project that came out too around that same time.
Mhm.
So like when we do get the full album studio version, it'll be nice to kind of see that evolution.
Yeah, totally. Because listening to it now, it definitely feels like a product of that part time of the band too, because it kind of has everything that we were working on like at the time, like all put together into one. Like if you listen to like Winter Tape or the stuff on Fan Service, it definitely feels like a middle ground between that.
Trix, you want to throw out another question?
Yeah. What is your current like recording setup look like? Are you using like a direct input? Are you amping miking amps, I should say, not amping mics?
My layout is pretty simple. It's been the same thing since I started the band. I use a Focusrite Scarlett Solo. I have it all connected right now. My Scarlett Solo connected into a Samson
Mm-hmm.
guitars or anything I do, just set it up in front of my amps.
Gotcha.
Though Nat has been pushing me to try just directly connecting my guitar into the interface, but I haven't quite figured that out yet.
Yeah, DI is a fun thing to mess around with.
Thinking of a good question myself. So Dominic, if you got another one
Yeah.
to steal off me, go ahead.
So, kind of listening to Hidome, and I started listening to the Live at Moe Fest EP because we're going to cover that next week. Evangelion, Fooly Cooly seem to be kind of huge touchstone reference points. I'm curious how those shows have kind of influenced you, or kind of like how much do you like those shows? How do they like set apart for you and like influenced all of your writing and stuff?
Yeah, good question. I'd say that Evangelion and Fooly Cooly are definitely in my top 5 shows at least. I don't think they're like my absolute favorites, but they're definitely up there for me, just with the way that just I really like the visuals of both of them. Both of them are very unique in the way that they show their stories, and the plots are really interesting too, though Fully Cooley doesn't have as much of a straightforward one as Evangelion. Both of them are just very interesting to me in all regards. And as for inspiring my writing, I think that Hidome was one of the earlier songs that I was writing for Online Friends, and that was an early example of me writing about things that I enjoy consuming, like movies, books, shows, etc. Those are just like easy inspiration points for me, and it has it all laid out there so I can like write about it in my own way.
Well,
I'm a
actually,
huge fan.
continuing on
Go ahead.
with the inspirations and shows and stuff. One thing I actually wanted to ask about is how you find some of the inspirations to some of the samples that you mostly have used on your earlier work. I know when we covered the Kanye Midwest single that had seemingly a YouTube poop introducing the song with the
Yeah.
the Philips CDI moment on there. The We Don't Care About Sports obviously ended with the Never Meant sample with the Are We Gonna Keep That One? Yeah, how have you gone around deciding what samples you will use, put onto these songs, et cetera, et cetera?
For sure. I think sometimes most of the time it happens if I'm like listening to or watching whatever it is, and it just occurs to me that would be a good sample. Or sometimes I'll be thinking about it, like I'll think about something like the Billy Mays sample on Harmon Cold Brew. Like I was just like I was just thinking of what like a funny like good sample would be to start it off, and that was the one that came to mind. I think going forward there are going to be more samples in our stuff. I know there was only pretty sure there was only like one sample on Unlimited Blade Works, the Fred the Movie sample on Watching
Yes.
Clocks. But yeah, on We Don't Care About Sports, I think most of those original samples are going to stay, and we're going to add some more of them. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Fanboys podcast that the
I'm
Hard Times
familiar with
site
it.
does.
I think my album was reviewed on it, or my EP.
Yeah, back in 2020, 2021, I believe, someone had sent in the album to them for them to listen to, and they just ripped apart Harmon Cold Brew for 6 minutes behind a paywall too. One of my friends had to like actually pay for it to get the audio. I'm really glad that they did. It's just really, it's stupid and it's funny to listen to now, and I think we're probably going to sample that on a couple spots on the album too.
I'll have to find my review. I remember mine was just like, I think this kid knows what they're doing, but this is just bad.
Yeah, ours basically just boiled down to it just sounding bad, like we did, like we didn't even try doing it, I guess, because like they acknowledged that it was a demo, but they were like, this is a demo, but what's below a demo? Because whatever that is, this has to be, because this is just bad.
I mean, I guess it's hard for us to really like judge in that way, because we've listened to like scenes where the recording process, as we've said, is like you're recording on a Fisher Price cassette tape in a bathroom, and that's like a whole punk scene in the Midwest. So it's like the style.
Exactly, like listening back to like We Don't Care About Sports Winter Tape, that's not the worst thing that I've heard in emo at all, but I can see why someone wouldn't be into how it sounds just because of how just like rough and DIY it is.
In a way, I think the thing I kind of uncovered now is that it kind of sounds normal. Like just knowing what the scene is and like how it's shaped over the years, it just sounds like part of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure, because I don't think there was as much of this back when it came out, but especially now, there's so much like rougher lo-fi emo that's popping up. So it's not really out of the ordinary anymore.
It's interesting though. Go ahead.
If yours is related, go ahead. Mine's completely off topic.
I was interesting, kind of like, you know, your reference points like Evangelion and stuff, and like the DIY-ness and the sampling. That's such like a thing that is so prevalent now, and especially in like the more DIY scenes like Dan Macy or something like that. It's interesting that the scene is kind of coalesced around these same things, when I would imagine, at least at time in like 2020, that wasn't really like as well known, or like it was kind of just your interest. Now it's kind of like everyone's kind of like into the same things. Like, how is that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting to see, because when I was doing the early Online Friends stuff, it wasn't really my intention for it to be like lo-fi sounding like that. That's just what I could put together with my setup at the time, because on Winter Tape and We Don't Care About Sports, I was using this drum machine, is like this big slab of plastic with like drum practice pads on it, and you'd plug it in and it would make various drum sounds based on whichever one you're hitting, and that's what I was playing on the album instead of regular drums. And I wasn't quite as good at like mixing my stuff either. It was, the recordings were definitely more rushed, but that wasn't my intention at all. Like I wasn't looking to like lo-fi bands for that inspiration. That's just sort of what came out, because back then I was very influenced by like Oso Oso, Modern Baseball, Mom Jeans, all these bands that are like really tight and have like really like good production and performances, but that's just how it translated when I was doing it at the time.
I'll go now. You Fred the movie was mentioned, but I want to know your opinion on Fred the show, the Nickelodeon show, because I am of the opinion that it is a subversive masterpiece.
I would personally say that about Fred the movie. I don't think I watched the show as much as I did the movies. I think I caught a couple episodes of it when it came on, but I never really dove that deep into it.
You have to do yourself a favor and watch the Bad Milk episode. It is a weird trip.
I'll definitely have to. I just got the second Fred movie, Night of the Living Fred, on DVD last weekend. I'll have to watch that soon and see if that holds up.
Can't believe we're diverting to a Fred podcast. I don't know why I said I can't believe this is always going to be the path.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I go completely off topic now, the one thing I'm going to ask is about the CD release that you did for Online Bladeworks, where I believe you had two different. Thank you. I'm still waking up. Where you had two different variants. One, I believe, was just the regular jewel case, and the other one was the Arizona iced tea box, I believe.
Which I totally should have within my grasp to hold up, but I do not currently.
I will hold up an Arizona can instead.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the Arizonas anymore because they all sold out, but I have the last two available copies of the Slim CD right here.
So what was the inspiration or the reason behind doing the Arizona tea? What was like the idea of like, hey, this would be a great little variant, especially with realistically a low buyer base to begin with?
Yeah, for sure. The idea came to me when we were getting ready to put out the EP because I wanted to do CDs of it, and I think it just made sense to do something with that aesthetic because the Arizona tea has been a big part of our aesthetic since 2020. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the original photo on the cover of Unlimited Bladeworks, but it's a picture of this house with these really nice pink flowers in front of it, and it looks like a can of Arizona tea. So that's been part of our aesthetic since then. And I thought I'd actually been like collecting like the boxes from the tea whenever I'd be getting them. I just thought that it would make sense if I put these to good use and made some CDs from them.
Have you had the Arizona fruit snacks?
I have not. They sound good. Have you had them?
Have you had the Arizona chips and dip?
I haven't, but I don't know. Looking at them, they kind of look like they taste like the Lunchable, like the Lunchable chips and dip. They just look like really.
They're not great. I bought them for
like plastic
one time.
Yeah, the fruit snacks were pretty much similar. There's just tea flavored fruit snacks. So that's,
Yeah, those sound good. I'll have to get some.
This is the most out of touch I've been with a question. I've never had any of this shit any of you guys are on about.
New York, baby. It's a New York company.
Really wanted to try the hard Arizona tea, but they don't have it. They don't have it around here.
That's too bad, but it's really good.
I bet, yeah. What I'm really hoping is that at some point we'll be able to get Arizona's attention enough for them to want to do something with us. Because I remember I like shotgunned a can of Arizona on Twitter once and added them at it, and they just directed me to a link to like give them pitches for something. So I guess I'd have to fill one of those out if I wanted to get a chance at it.
Nice.
You could do 365 Arizona cans in a year.
That is true.
I'm doing hot dogs.
How far are you on that?
I shotgun Arizonas, but the amount that I shotgun doubles each video that I do.
That's gonna be a lot of liquid after a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be spaced out a bit, like that one guy on TikTok that makes pasta with the thousands of eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be like that.
Peter's pasta, I think it is.
Yeah, gonna get Mr. Beast to help me shotgun him.
To answer your
That'll get their
question, Ritz,
attention for
I'm
sure.
behind. I'm only like 30 deep. One of these days, I need to just crush a whole pack of them, a couple nights in a row.
A lot of
Gonna
hot
be
dogs.
one hell of a New Year's Eve.
This is a hot dog party.
Yeah.
Sausage party even.
Oh, you could throw that on in the background.
Oh God. I could not finish that movie.
So
I'm
I
gonna
never even
say
gave it a shot.
Dominic asked the question and
Getting-
not
getting-
doing the sausage talk anymore.
getting back to music for a minute here. So who do you consider like your friends or like groups or bands that you interact with these days? Like how have you kind of developed into the scene and major circles?
Let's see. I have this big playlist on Spotify that's just all the friends bands that, well, some of them are more people that I just fuck with and associate with. Like I don't talk to a lot of them on a regular basis, but like the people, like the bands on there, I've just considered friends from friends of their friends, just people that I've attached to over the years, and people that just seem chill. Like I could see myself like being friends with them if given the opportunity to. It's a pretty expansive list, though I've had to add and remove people from it every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've said on Twitter a couple times, don't cross me, or I'm gonna take you off of there.
It's like what was it back in the day? The T-Mobile, was it My Circle or something where you had
It
your
was
top five friends?
MySpace had the top 5. Yeah.
It was always a big deal.
You're off my top 8. You're done.
Yeah.
You're gone.
It's bound to
Top
happen.
8. We need to go back to MySpace.
I mean, we can. That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Also, I'll
MySpace
set up
also had
additional
the
ways
feature.
MySpace.
It had the
additional
feature of
ways
you could
MySpace
play
activists.
music on the profile, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't think you
Yeah, I
can do
think
that
it did,
anymore.
I think
I
it
do have
used to,
I do have a
but-
space hey that I don't use. Maybe I should get back on that.
You just start the rumor that there is there's an online friends forgotten single on MySpace somewhere, and just hope people find it.
Smart. Yeah, I'll have to do that.
You could pose it as one of those ones that got deleted before, like what was it, 2016, when every MySpace file got deleted.
Something weird like
guys
that,
remember
yeah.
that?
I never.
I don't think that would hold
MySpace.
up very well because I started it in 2019.
Very old single.
I didn't have anything before that, but
It was before you thought of online friends.
It was when you were just online.
Yes.
Could have been offline friends too. I mean, there's a couple puns here.
offline enemies.
Offline enemies, there you go. That's a great band name.
Yeah.
I think I've had like at least one other person say they were going to start a rival band with that name, actually.
I wish them the best of
Just-
luck. I hope they develop into something.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
That meme would be better if it wasn't cut off a little bit there. I can see it starts as N line, and then obviously your head comes a bit, but I assume that only can mean enemies. The fans be like, and then whoa, shit.
Whoa, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's just the friends online section of Discord.
Mm.
Yeah, I was trying stuff on here for like a half hour and I couldn't really find a lot of things that fit really well.
It shows through. We can get it. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got less than 5 minutes before we're going to have to leave and rejoin for part two of this. Has anyone got a real quick question that we can kind of just ask here before that?
I do. Have you been playing any games lately?
Let's see. Not as much as I'd like to. I have been meaning to start something new. I've just been playing like arcade games on my PS2 this past week or so, but I have lots of games I've been meaning to like sit down and start. It just comes down to finding one that I really want to like devote my time to currently.
I feel that.
Which arcade games have you been playing though?
I have this like this collection for the PS2, like Midway Arcade Treasures. I think it's called it as like Mortal Kombat, Total Carnage, Rampage, stuff like that. I've also been playing like Dig Dug 2 and Pac-Man on my DS too.
Interesting.
Can I officially challenge you to a high score off in Galaga?
Sure, you're on.
All right. I will hold you to this.
This will be part two of the interview. Just Trix and Kayne playing Galaga.
I'll be ready with my Namco treasures in hand.
I will be playing the PS4 version because that's what I have hooked up right now.
I fully expect you to trade high scores on Twitter back and forth.
I 100%.
Got it. It's the original game, but on the PS4, or is there like a revamped like version that they did?
Yeah, it's just like the arcade version with like a special like banner. It's just the normal arcade version.
I gotta say, a version like made just for the PS2 with PS4 with like PS4 graphics would go hard. I gotta say,
it would. I might mix it up and I might pull out some weird versions of Galaga from the vault. We'll see.
You're gonna pull out like Galaxian on a stake or something.
Well, I actually have a plug and play somewhere with Galaga on it.
Hell yeah. Start taking pictures of it when you're done, like it's like a NES game in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We should leave and rejoin. We're gonna do that real quick. We're gonna have a little intermission. We'll be back in just a moment, everybody.
Because we don't pay Zoom.
Nope.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray, and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love.
I just noticed that the passcode for the meeting was Scarecrow. That's a good one. That didn't resonate at first.
That's great. Now people listening 3 weeks from now are going to be able to log into this.
Log into this past Zoom meeting.
They need the link first.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna have their own interview on here.
I wish them the best of luck. Anyway,
so
hello.
I'm
welcome
happy
back.
to ask it. I'm happy to ask the first question in part two, unless you got something, Dominic.
No, please go ahead.
Has there been anything outside of the emo scene that you've been listening to recently or been taking any inspiration from?
Oh, absolutely. I've been outside of emo for a while. I've been listening to I've been getting into a lot of cybergrind. I've been taking a lot of inspiration for that, especially for my side project, Douglas Sheridan. I dabble in a bit of cybergrind on there. But this past week, I've been listening to a couple new cybergrind albums that came out. Like Zombie Shark just dropped one. Bubblegum Octopus just put out one. There's been some good stuff coming out recently, and it's consistently been one of the more interesting scenes going on right now. I feel like emo's good, emo's great, but like the big money cybergrind community is especially just like really chill, and there's lots of great music coming out of it too. And I think that what they're doing is definitely going to make its way into future online friends as well. More like more like heavy electronic elements for sure.
Yeah, and I was recommended a cybergrind album a couple of years ago by a friend. I forget the name of it, but it was one of the more popular ones in the scene, which is kind of an oxymoron, but it is definitely a pretty interesting sound that's kind of been developing over the past couple of years. I mean, we've been covering enough of the claustrophobia pop sound, which I would honestly say has a very kind of similar vibe, even though it sounds different on that. I don't know, Trix or Dominic has listened to Cybergrind before.
Not really.
I have not.
I did see Dan Macy talking about Cybergrind recently.
It's kind of like a faster pace, got a bit of chiptune to it, kind of hyper pop type of sound. Is like the easiest way I could kind of explain it. It's not completely correct, but
it sounds like it'd be perfect for our podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of different like sounds going into it. Like there's stuff that's just like grindcore, like just straight up grindcore, but with chiptune instrumentals. There's a lot of hyper pop stuff too, and there's some stuff that's more going into like metalcore, post hardcore with a lot of electronics too. But yeah, you should definitely look into getting some cybergrind on here. I bet Dan Macy could probably direct you to some.
You made the mistake of doing your side project. Dominic's gonna pick it in like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's entirely possible. You never know. I try to be predictable yet unpredictable at the same time.
Anything else outside of the cybergrind? Have you been having any guilty pleasures or anything?
I don't really believe in guilty pleasure. I think that's stupid. Like I just enjoy just whatever I do. Like whatever I like is good. I like it. Let's see, trying to pull up my last FM here. Pulling up what I've been listening to. I haven't really been listening. I haven't had a lot of time to get into a lot of stuff recently, but I did have a brief bomb the music industry kick last week since I watched their documentary Never Get Tired, and that inspired me to listen to a couple releases that I hadn't yet.
Yeah, I watched like 15 minutes of that documentary, not because I hated it, it's just because I had no time to watch the rest, but it was great from what I saw from that. So
yeah, it was really good.
I don't blame you. Plus, Jeff Rosenstock's album last year was fantastic.
It was really good. He doesn't miss, really.
Dominic,
last music documentary I saw was Quattro, and that was quite a fluff piece.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I did, however, watch. I just watched Coldplay Live 2003 last night, and that was pretty awesome.
I believe it.
I've had it on DVD for a while, and I hadn't gotten around to it yet.
Can they truly say it's live, even though it's 21 years later?
Well, I guess it was live at one point, but not anymore.
This interview was live at one point. It's currently happening right now, but when you're hearing this, it'll be in the past.
Oh shit!
I'm too asleep for that one.
And okay, here's a question though. Is there anyone you want to collab with these days, or like any kind of like, I don't know, like compilation projects or anything you'd like to do with people?
Oh, totally. For collaborations, again, a lot of I would love to like feature on some more cybergrind stuff because I've done some recently. Like I was on a couple cybergrind albums last year, but I would really like to have some people like feature on online friend stuff in the future. For LP2, we want to get like a lot of features, like as many as we can probably. So I'm sure that's going to be somewhere that we're going to be dipping into to try getting people. And for compilations, there were a couple that we were going to be on last year. There was like a Screamo cover comp, and there was an AJJ cover comp too that we unfortunately didn't get around to getting on. But me and Ame did start getting people together for a Black Country New Road cover comp where we cover all of Ants from Up There. We have
okay.
We have the whole track list like divvied out already. It'll just come down to everyone like actually getting it done. I don't know. We have no idea when that'll be coming out because we're not like on a set schedule for it or anything. But if it all pulls together, I think it'll be pretty awesome.
Are you
I
able to say what song you'd be covering, or is that a bit too much info?
We are going to be doing basketball shoes. Bit of a daunting
That's a
feat,
dangerous one.
but yeah, but I think we can pull together.
All right, follow-up question to that. The new lyrics, the ones on Anthem Up There, or the original lyrics in the live recordings?
Oh, I was thinking about this too. I was thinking about doing like a mix of it, maybe. Like incorporate like just going through like the album version and the Elizabeth Hall version and just picking and choosing like what lyrics I want to do for it. And I do want to incorporate some of the lyrics from that live 2019 version too, where it's more focused on Charlie XCX.
Hell yeah. I am so down to hear this whenever it happens.
Yeah, we were big fans of Anthem Up There when it came out. I think, Dominic, you had it as your favorite album that year, didn't you?
I believe so, yes.
I think I had it as number
definitely
2.
mine too.
That and Hellfire were very close.
It ended up getting pipped for me by Petrol Girls, but it was my second favorite of the year, so it's not exactly like that's a bad performance either. I think Trix was probably the most negative, and she wasn't even really that negative.
Yeah, it wasn't my album, but I could really appreciate it.
We're definitely down to hear that compilation whenever it does come out.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking like I have a question at the moment, but I'm still blanking. So Trix or Dominic, have you got another question?
Shit. Favorite childhood DS game? Just one game at random.
Oh. I think it would have to be Super Mario 64 for DS.
Classic.
That's always one that I've loved playing. I've always come back to it a ton.
I go back to the DS version more than the N64 version.
I think I only ever played the N64 version once because we have one, but I don't think we have the right like cables for it right now. And I remember the one time I played it, I just couldn't get a hold of the controls because it has a pretty wonky controller.
It is pretty wonky.
I feel, and like the DS one's kind of hard to like get around too with like the camera and stuff.
Yeah, with the D-pad.
Yeah.
As long as you remember that the camera is a living, breathing component of the world, you generally can get by. I have a question. Let's say 2024 is the year of online friends. Like, you blow up, you would become one of the preeminent acts of the modern emo scene. What is the right level of fame, do you think?
It's a good question. I don't think I'd want to get like huge, really, because like I've seen what happens when emo bands get like really big, and their fans just get like annoying about it, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want the people that support me to get annoying at all. So I think just like not like I wouldn't want like thousands upon thousands of listens or anything. I just want like a consistent amount of people that are like listening and posting us and like supporting us consistently. I think it's like I try not to worry about the numbers too much, but it's definitely there in the back of my mind. So I try not to worry about it too much. But it'd just be cool to see like people that I don't know, like people that I'm not friends with, like don't know at all, like discovering us and posting us. Like that'd be great to see.
Like kind of like what we did, essentially.
Yeah, you guys, that completely took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it at all, but that was really cool. I really appreciate what you guys said about the EP. Thanks for getting the CD too.
It's one of those happenstance things of like,
hey, with credit card points.
So before we get into a circle joke of ourselves, I'm going to go ask another question now. It's a bit completely off topic. What was the first concert you've ever attended?
Let's see. I'm not sure if I'd count these, but when I was a kid, I went to 2 separate Beatles cover band concerts at like festivals somewhere. But my first proper concert that I went to was in 2015. It was the Northern Invasion Festival in Somerset, Wisconsin. And it used to be, I don't think they do it anymore. It was this moderately big like hard rock metal concert, like the kind of thing that you'd expect. They had like, I forget
I'm
who
searching it
played
up
that
right
there.
now. It was in what city was it in?
Somerset.
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 Yeah. Yeah, I distinctly remember seeing. I didn't really see a lot of the bands. I remember seeing like Hailstorm, 30 Days Grace, Pretty Reckless. I do have a signed poster by Hailstorm actually, because we did like a signing meet and greet thing, and I remember that their front woman complimented my Pink Floyd shirt that I was wearing, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. Like, no way, she actually listens to them. That's awesome.
So I've actually just found the poster. There are probably other artists on there as well, and I'm trying to just get this in a good enough quality that I can see some of the lower artists on there. Yeah. So here we go. The lineup was Slipknot was headlining, Five Finger Death Punch, Volbeat, 3 Days Grace, Hailstorm, Pretty Reckless, In This Moment, Anthrax, Live, Motionless in White, Young Guns, Thousand Foot Crutch, We Are Harlot, and Starset. And I don't know if that's exactly what performed on the day, but that is what the poster has in there. I'm trying to ignore completely the Motionless in White. Dominic knows my feelings on that album.
Yeah, we listened to one of their more recent things, and it did not go well. But you know, that's just them as the break sometimes.
Yeah, I ended up going to the 2017 one too, which I think was a lot better. They had better bands. I got to see like Soundgarden, which was like a few days. So a few days like right before Chris Cornell died. Actually, that was pretty jarring.
Wow.
But yeah, I saw them, like Offspring.
You're ignoring the headliner on that one, or one of the headliners. Sorry,
who was that again? Who? Kid Rock. Yeah,
Kid Rock.
I was in the crowd for that. Unfortunately, he was entertaining. I'll say that much. But there were a few.
It was fine when he was just considered a joke artist to see, and not a joke of a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a couple bands that were playing there that I unfortunately didn't see, because I know that Gojira were playing like the smaller stage.
Gojira.
And I remember that the Dillinger Escape Plan were playing there too. And I regret not seeing them so bad, because I didn't really know them at the time. I didn't know that they were playing. I could have been seeing Dillinger, but no, I was at the big stage watching Bush. I think I would have had a better time at that.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Dinosaur Pile Up, who played as well, who were pretty good.
I've never heard of Dinosaur Pile Up, I'll be honest.
I haven't either.
They're a bit more on the hard rock style. They're not anything crazy. The one that I can definitely say my partner would be excited about is Dorothy, was apparently playing that, and that's more on the style of blues hard rock. It's a pretty interesting lineup, just looking at this one. A lot of there's a lot of bands that I wouldn't personally go see myself, but I can see a lot of people wanting to go to them, like Godsmack and Alter Bridge.
Godsmack were pretty cool live. I don't really listen to them myself, but they were cool to see.
Someone can ask a second question. I've got no follow-up to this.
Are there any albums you either have heard this year that you liked, you're looking forward to this year at all? They're coming out this year.
Yeah. So there's this thing I do every year. I I take all the new releases that I've listened to and I put them all on a chart and like try and rank them on how much I enjoyed them. So far, the best thing that I've heard this year in terms of albums has got to be the new Military's Por Segundo. You guys have listened to them? Really good.
Yep.
Really good. Bedroom Screamo. One of the better bands doing it right now, I think. And
was the band
sorry,
name?
been some good Military's Por Segundo.
Okay.
I haven't brought it up on the podcast, but I have listened. I'm terrible at Venezuelan, so whatever the actual language is, probably not even called Venezuelan. Gotcha. That's when they're from. But I put one of their songs in my 200 last year. I can't remember the exact title of it because, again, I'm not good at languages that aren't English. It's just a bit of my ignorance, but yeah, no, I agree that album was good this year. I don't think it's as highly rated as you seem to be doing it, but yeah, it was a good little record.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't heard a ton of stuff yet this year either, but that's definitely up there for me, along with
it's also
cybergrind stuff that I mentioned earlier.
Rex, you got anything?
Yeah. What's your favorite brand of frozen pizza?
Oh, I've always been really into Tombstone. That's been a big favorite of mine. I do love me a good Red Baron though. I love the crust on those.
Red Baron is pretty great. If you can find it, I always recommend Motor City Pizza Company. They do a good Detroit style that's frozen.
How do we feel about Jack's?
I don't think I've had Detroit style before.
How do you feel about Jack's?
Jack's frozen pizza?
Yeah.
If I have to.
I'm a cheap bitch sometimes.
I'm going to get us off pizza chat and kind of back onto Dominic's prior question. Not just in 2024, is there any really underrated album, whether that be from your friends, the cybergrind, or just in any genre that like no one's listened to that you really think everyone should be listening to?
That's a really good question. Let's see.
Someone played a Jeopardy theme whilst we fill up this awkward silence. Trix, you got the bass.
Yeah, I have a bass here. I don't think it's tuned though.
Yeah, just do the Jeopardy theme on it. You can do it, surely.
Oh god, I fucking knocked one of the tuners.
It's kind of getting.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think a while ago you stopped doing that.
But there was a lot of really underappreciated stuff that I enjoyed a ton last year. Like, especially in cybergrind, there was a lot of great cybergrind last year. Like the new Sleeping on Stardust album was really good. I featured on it, so there might be a little bias there. So wait, were we saying like outside of like my friends in cybergrind, or
just as said, even if it is just that, just what do you think the most underrated stuff at the moment is, or even the past whatever time? Doesn't even have to be the most, just a couple.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I've been enjoying Sun is Poison a lot. Roadkill Lullaby put out a really interesting screamo album last year. I didn't see a lot of people talk about.
Trix, were you still trying to do the Jeopardy thing?
No, I got distracted by tuning. Sorry. I will set this down.
Put the bass down. Stop ruining the wedding.
Nobody wants to hear my 30-minute atonal solo.
When you're doing the
This
speech
is
of the wedding,
hard. This is hard because I'm looking at stuff and I can't really tell, like, in my mind whether it's like underappreciated or not. Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff that came out last year that I enjoyed a lot. There hasn't been a ton this year. I'm not really sure what's all coming out this year. Like, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that hasn't already come out.
Well, we just found out that there's a new Stomach Book album coming out in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I'm pretty excited for that because I did really enjoy their first album.
Yes, that was
did
one
you
of
guys?
My favorites.
Yeah, one of my favorite things from last year actually was the I Became Birds cover comp. Did you guys listen to that?
Oh yeah, we covered
Yeah,
that.
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I'd like to see more of, like bands doing like really unique takes on other things. Like I'd really like to see more of that.
Like your answering up their cover comp that you want to do.
Totally, yeah. Who knows, it might end up more like that too, because given the people that we have for it, it might end up being a little more left field than we expect it to be.
I think if we get a cybergrind cover of a Black Country New Road, that's the kind of terrible thing that shouldn't exist that I want to exist. I bullied these two with the Nightcore cover of Real Death from Mount Airy.
I've seen that, unfortunately.
I still think the best of that kind of genre I've seen was the AMV of Neutral Milk Hotel's My Dream Girl Don't Exist.
I mean, embrace the chaos.
We got on a tangent of this.
Just, if you want to,
ask another question. We should not get on the anime music video tangent because we'll be there for hours.
Yeah. I just want to say, embrace the chaos. If the comp goes left field, go left field. I think that's the more interesting route. Like if that's where it's going.
Yeah, totally. Like I wouldn't want it to be like a 1-to-1 version of it or anything. Like that's would definitely be cool to see like everyone do their own takes on it.
That's the beauty of that cover comp of I Became Birds. Is just like the creativity there.
Yeah, totally.
I guess a question I do have is that in like the fifth wave scene, like who's your Mount Rushmore right now, you think?
Mount Rushmore, huh? Let's see. So if I had to pick 4, I think Militaris would definitely be on there. Are we counting like proto fifth wave as that too?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, because I've got to say that Hekra is definitely on mine too. It's definitely in my top 2 of like favorite artists ever. He's amazing. It's great to see him blowing up a bit as he deserves to. Those 2. I'd say maybe Nouns would be on there too.
Hell yeah.
It's been awesome seeing them come back too, because like Still Bombed has got to be one of my favorite albums ever, and I somehow completely missed a repress of it a couple weeks ago, so I'm hoping that they'll do another one soon.
And that 4th one.
Let's see.
That's about it, right, Trix? We couldn't hear anything coming from your back. I think you're all clear.
Gotcha. Because there was loud dog screaming upstairs.
Didn't come from the
downstairs neighbor.
And I'd say the 4th spot might go to Sun is Poison. If they're not experimental enough, I'd have to say maybe Godfuck. I don't know.
Interesting.
Trix, you got a question to ask?
I'm drawing a blank right now. Give me a minute.
Dominic, I'll let you ask the second question in a row. I'm also currently
Just forgot that I was wearing my Godfuck hat. Actually,
I
took
couldn't
me
actually
a
see
while.
that it was
It took me a while to get one of these, but I finally managed to grab one. It's got a bottle opener in the bill. Proves to be pretty useful if I need to open a bottle.
that's incredible.
Hell yes.
Oh yeah.
I learned
Actually,
to open a bottle with my ring, so.
I'll actually ask a question kind of on that tangent then. What's some of your favorite merch from artists that you've either seen or received or bought?
Good question. I gotta say this is definitely up there. See, I'd say that the Hecra shirt I have is very cool. I have a lot of, well, just everything, like all the merch designed by Corey from Zombie Shark. You've probably seen his art around, but he does a lot of like the early like 2000s 2010s like neon like splatter kind of monster stuff, and I have a good few of those. My main goal is to get enough shirts designed by just wear a different one for each day of the week.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to go into the rapid fire?
I actually have one that might take a little bit longer to answer.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at Corey's swipe card at the moment, and I can understand what you mean. This is pretty hectic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to get him to design something for Online Friends, but I'm not. But that'll probably be like in the future because I think his stuff definitely isn't cheap. But I'd love to get him to do a shirt or some artwork for us.
Hell yeah. On a similar topic of that, is there any like super wild or weird piece of Online Friends merch you'd want to put out there?
We were talking a month ago. Ami and I were considering reaching out to somebody to do ashtrays.
Awesome. I would buy an
Yes.
ashtray.
Like onfo ashtrays with like Bladeworks like aesthetics and like visuals on it. I think that could still happen in the future.
I would absolutely buy one.
Yeah, I don't even smoke or anything, but I have one like right centered on my desk.
It's nice for keys and coins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have one on my desk that's just full of guitar picks and stuff, so could get a bigger one to hold those.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've only got a certain period of time before we've got to close this interview off, so I reckon we go straight into the quickfire, unless anything else.
No, I think rapid fire is a fun time. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you start them.
All right. I give you a portable CD drive and tell you got to rip one CD. Which one are you ripping?
Like just an album?
Just grab
just
an
like
album.
One singular album?
Yep.
No Closer Heaven by the Wonder Years.
Trying to think of a very good quick. What's the first ever video game you played that you can remember? To completion.
To completion. Should that narrows it down a lot because I don't finish games. Maybe Mario Party for the DS.
Favorite Arizona flavor?
I'd say green, probably. I do love me a good Arnold Palmer though.
Have you ever had the blueberry white tea, and do you wish it came back?
I haven't. I haven't seen that. The stores around me only carry like the green and the Arnold Palmer, just those two.
It discontinued
one of my
like
favorites
10 years ago.
That kind of your question, Dominic?
Yeah, it just continued like 10 years ago. I just wish somebody else understood my pain.
Yeah, fair enough. Last movie you watched?
That well, like I mentioned earlier, the Coldplay Live 2003, but I also did watch yesterday. I watched Godzilla versus Mothra: Battle for Earth.
Hell yeah. MMO of choice growing up, like Club Penguin or EverQuest or whatever the fuck.
Toontown.
Hell yes.
Do you know where all of your keys go to on your keychain or keyring?
I don't have a keychain, but I don't have a lot of use for keys. I only have like 2 or 3, but I do know what they go to.
Dream artist to see, dead or alive?
I think maybe Free Parking.
Did you know Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings?
Can you repeat that?
Did you know Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings? It's a dumb joke I love telling. Don't worry about it.
It's the dumbest Trix comment. She's made this joke 5 times in the past year.
I didn't know
it's a
that.
joke.
I didn't know that actually.
It's pretty obscure.
I thought he just started out with like Wings and McCartney too. This is news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think Temporary Secretary was his first single, but you know, there was some stuff before that.
I guess not. It's funny you mentioned that because I just bought this shirt the other day. That's like a picture of Paul McCartney sitting with Lum from Urusei Yatsura. It says like Temporary Secretary across it. I was kind of torn about buying it because I listened to the actual song and it sucks. So I might just have to crop it right above that. So
hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Okay, question. Let's say that Colonel Tom Parker from Elvis fame comes up to you and says Elvis wants to sing one of your songs tonight. Which song do you give him? It has to be one that's already released.
I think Snacked, just because it would sound funny.
What's the hottest music take that you have that you're probably comfortable actually publicly airing?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm not totally sure where that comfortability line is for me.
Just kind of one that you will publicly defend and die on a hill. So not something that you go like, this is a hot music take, but it's just edgy. Something that you would publicly die on a hill.
Yeah, I think that like taking your music on and off streaming like multiple times, that's stupid. Like I don't see the point in that, but I see bands do it pretty frequently. Like what's the point? Just leave it on. Like what's the point? You're not being like mysterious or anything. You're just making it harder for me to listen.
So when is the winter tape coming on Spotify?
It's already on there, isn't it?
I don't think so. Or maybe
it is.
Maybe some of it isn't. I know some of it isn't.
All of our stuff is on there, as far as I know. I know at one point we were on there as Online Friends with a period. That was like a typo formatting mistake on our part, and it was just I think it was just Winter Tape and Crabs that were up under that, but I think that kind of sabotaged us a bit. But everything should be up there now as just Online Friends, no period. Online Friends has never had a period. Anyone that tells you otherwise, they're lying. That was a typo that went way too far.
Maybe it's Apple Music that I'm thinking of instead.
No,
maybe I I think it is. I think there was some sort of issue with Apple Music, actually, now that you mention it, because our stuff got taken off of streaming after we switched labels, and I don't think they were able to get it up on Apple, actually.
Now, I do gotta say, we've got very little time here, so Trix, this is now your time to ask the last question on the interview.
last question. What is your ideal sandwich?
With drink.
See, I think a nice, thick, crispy chicken patty, American cheese, maybe some mayo, some ketchup, then probably just some lettuce, like a good like crispy chicken sandwich I could fuck up like whenever. Like can't go wrong with it, really.
You can't.
And what drink would you have with that?
Maybe a Baja Blast.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, that is going to do it for us. We have less than a minute to go. It'll just cut off when it cuts off. Thank you, Kayne, for joining us.
If you got anything to plug, I would do it right now before this cuts off.
All right, yeah. Listen to Online Friends. Find us on Twitter. Listen to Douglas Sheridan. Follow our playlists. Listen to us on Spotify, Bandcamp. I have 2 copies of Bladeworks left. Buy those, sell those out. Thank you guys for having me on. This was really fun. I'm glad